Sports Illustrated greatest female athlete of the 20th century and still the world record holder of the heptathlon, Jackie Joyner-Kersee.
And you can keep that applause going because this is Jackie Joyner-Kersee's very first time in Africa.
Yes.
You have had the world record for some time now. When you look out at the current landscape, you know, we've heard this theme talked about a lot today. Is it that your world record should have been broken already, but one of those young ladies ended up in something else?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And one of the great thing about the multi-events is that when you're first developing or evolving, that you see yourself doing the run, jump, and throw. And for me, coaches put me in the multi-events because I didn't know how to high jump, I didn't know how to throw. You know, the shot put was too heavy.
Right.
But anyway, I ended up doing the multi-events. But one of the things, once I left age group and went to college, and you know, my husband coached me, and Bobby always said, no, you're going to stay with the heptathlon, even though I wanted to just long jump. He's like, no, you're going to stay with the heptathlon. And what I've seen over the years, all the talent that has come through track and field across the world, is that usually the young ladies get to a certain point, and then all of a sudden, either someone is whispering in their ear or whatever, or maybe she just long jump, or maybe she just hurdle.
So they get taken out of the multi-events to focus on one.
Yes. Or they just get to the point where they don't want to train that hard anymore.
I wonder if you could speak a little bit about what you feel like athletics has been able to give to you, because it not only gave you a chance to obviously go to university and to become, I mean, you're a household name worldwide and certainly in the United States. What has it enabled you to do for future generations of young women, particularly from your hometown?
Oh, yeah. Athletics has given me the world, from just personal development, self-esteem, learning to set goals, the true understanding of commitment to hard work, and also being able to persevere. You know, if you fall down, you find a way to get back up. You try to figure out what's the solution to the problem. And for me, because of athletics, I have been blessed to be able to share that with a community that I grew up in, that people would say nothing good come from that community. And all I want to do is instill hope and aspiration that if you believe, I hate using a cliche, you can achieve.
Of course.
And that's the true essence of what I believe and what sports have given to me.
There are a lot of people in this room that will fondly remember you competing. And many of them might say that that was sort of a golden era for athletics. We certainly did not have a problem getting people to show up to watch you guys compete. If you competed in that golden era, what do you think athletics has gotten away from? Why we have this sort of conference where we are sort of attempting to address some of the things that are now deficient in our sport?
Well, I think you touch upon several of them this morning. Credibility is always an issue. Even they call us the golden era. We had the doping issue.
Of course.
And
Ben Johnson, hey.
And then also, I think that what I saw yesterday or yesteryears versus now is that a lot of the athletes they think they're entitled. And
what do they think they're entitled to?
Oh.
You name it, huh?
Yes. Higher. You know, finance is going to always be an issue. But I think that in my day, you had to earn a contract.
And now they expect to come out of school and get it.
Right. You had to prove yourself. Now contracts are given on potential. And that there's no need to continue to work harder. Mediocrity is acceptable. But I do feel that collegiate sports, when you were talking about the collegiate sports and some of the foreign athletes coming over, that you know, I wasn't a foreign athlete, but believe me, they ran me to death at UCLA trying to win a national title.
Right.
But I do think from the collegiate ranks of keeping the rivalries, we had rivalries. There is no way I could show up and not compete against Heike Drexler in the long jump.
There's no ducking like today.
Yes, or in the multi-events that you would have all the top multi-eventers in the different big meets to compete. So I think that we have a lot of superstars in our sports, but a lot of people really don't see them as superstars because, yes, they win their world title, they win their Olympic Games, they win this, but it's nothing like going head-to-head competition. And I think mapping it out so that it could work not only for the athlete, but also for the event. And I think our sport in general, we need to find what our niche is today. You look at World Cup, at a time soccer wasn't really big in America, and this past World Cup you had people sitting around everywhere trying to see, because they found a niche and a time to host the World Cup that didn't interfere with any other big time events. But with us, we'll try to compete against all our other and wondering why we are not on the front page, or sometimes we're not in the pages at all. As women, when I was coming up, you didn't see many women doing what I was trying to do. And that women's athletics back then wasn't what it is today because our talents weren't appreciated.
Right.
And I think that moving forward is that young girls have to see other women look like them doing what they're trying to do, to inspire them, to let them know that there is the possibility. And so in changing the landscape, it's also giving young girls, as well as those young girls becoming young women who might not be active on the field, but in places that can give us a voice to help change that landscape.
Yeah.
Because you can bring all the parties to the table, but we all must try to work towards what's that common goal. And in trying to change the landscape here is continue to have a conference like this. Right. And people brainstorming and trying to figure out, yes, we put all this information out there, but what is the action plan going forward? How are we going to put things in place to make sure that we have events here? You know, they say they have the resources, they have the monies, and okay, now when are we going to put a timeline and get it done? Yes. And make it happen?
What words of advice would you have for both active athletes and athletes like some of your friends? Allison Felix, who has said she's getting ready to retire after 2016, Sonia Richards-Ross, Usain Bolt, who says maybe he has 2 or 3 more seasons. What are the kind of things that they can do now to prepare for that eventuality of, I'm now not the world's fastest human, the Olympic gold medalist, I have to be something else?
For me, I'm a realist.
Yeah.
And I never let being the world's greatest go to my head. I always knew there's going to be someone else. Right. And I try to keep things in perspective. And I always knew the things that I wanted to do beyond the athletic field. I always knew I was going to go back into my community, of course, yes, and try to build a community center, yes, and work with people. So as I continue on my journey working in athletics, networking, trying to work with people who shared my vision as well as understood my vision. And so as I got ready to transition out of the sport, I always knew that I couldn't run forever, but then I don't want to train at that same level, but now that I'm out, let me continue my energies and desires or focusing on the same level, because now I'm still doing the things that I was trying to do while I was competing, but couldn't do it at that level because I need to train because someone, you know, is nipping at my heels. So once I made that transition, that it wasn't tough for me. But I do believe that what I see with athletes is that we don't know how to step outside of that arena, because to me, my athletics performances do not define who I am. And I always understood that. even when someone do not recognize who I am, it doesn't bother me.
Right.
I just want you to respect me as a human being, and the same as I would do for any of you. So for any athlete that's trying to make that transition, must understand that there is life after, if you want it to be.
Right.
But you have to pursue it while you in the glorious of your days. So those relationships are very important.
While your name still means something, you better figure out what you're going to do next. And if your name now can help you in that transition, then you better go in there and have that meeting, have that phone call, sit down and figure it out.